Welcome back. God had answered Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah's prayer. He had revealed to Daniel the dream which Nebuchadnezzar had had a couple of nights earlier, and the interpretation of the dream. Note Daniel's confidence in Yahweh's answer. He instructs Arioch to cease executing the wise men even prior to finding out whether his information is even accurate. By faith. Remember, faith is the evidence of things not seen. It's the substance of things hoped for. And that without faith, it is impossible to please God. For those who come to God must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. Daniel, by faith, then boldly goes to the most powerful man on the earth, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, to inform him of God's revelation. We read about it in Daniel chapter 2, beginning at verse 26. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, "Are you able to make known to me the dream which I have seen, and its interpretation?" Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, "The secret which the king has demanded, the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, and the soothsayers cannot declare to the king. But there is a God in heaven who reveals secrets, and He has made known to King Nebuchadnezzar what will be in the latter days. Your dream and the visions of your head upon your bed were these." Note the king's question and Daniel's response. The king asked, "Are you able to make known to me?" Daniel replied that it was impossible for a man to fulfill the king's desire. When he states the secret which the king has demanded, the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, and the soothsayers cannot declare to the king. Remember, Daniel was one of those wise men. The king's request was impossible for a man to fulfill. But Daniel continued, "However, there is a God in heaven who can." Daniel immediately pointed Nebuchadnezzar not to himself, but to God. How easy it would have been for Daniel at that moment to have simply said, "I have the interpretation for you." "Daniel, are you able to give the interpretation?" "Yes, king, I'm able to give you the interpretation." To be able to sidestep the implication of the king's question and to take some of the glory for himself. But Daniel knew that none of the glory belonged to him. God simply was using him as the vessel to declare His message to the king in such a way as to get the attention of the king and to reveal Himself, that is Yahweh, as the one and only true God. Daniel was simply the ambassador being sent to this earthly king. Daniel shared the dream and then the interpretation. We're not going to get into those things. Note, though, then, Nebuchadnezzar's response recorded in verse 47, where we read, "The king answered Daniel and said, 'Truly, your God is the God of gods, the Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, since you could reveal this secret.'" Nebuchadnezzar was confronted by new information, a new reality. The gods that he had served and worshipped were incapable of doing what the God of Daniel was able to do. Hence, He, Yahweh, the God of Israel, the God of Daniel, must be the God of gods. For someone practicing polytheism, this is a huge first step. So what do you believe? Do you believe that God is able to accomplish what seems to be impossible in the eyes of the world? And that He's able to accomplish that impossibility through you? Is there anything too hard for God to do? Is there anything too hard for God to do through you? Is there something that you believe that God would like you to try that seems beyond your ability? I personally have watched Yahweh do incredible things through me. Not because of me, but rather in spite of me. Yet there are times when I still balk and I still doubt. And I have to cry out, as we saw many sessions ago, Lord, I believe. Help me in my unbelief. These prayer videos were one of those things. It was quite a long time for me to come around to simply obeying God to do these things. And yet, step by step, God led me the entire way and convicted me that this was something He wanted to accomplish in me and through me for His glory, not for mine. And that's my prayer, that I would be out of the way, but that the focus would be upon Him. Take time to pray today, asking God what He might want to accomplish through you. Something that maybe would be beyond what you could even imagine, that He would be able to do through you, for His glory, for His name's sake. Have a blessed day.